Does a young person who is that young person who vapes more likely to go on and become a smoker than somebody who never vapes? And the answer is yes. That is correct. Does that imply causation? I would say no. Now, to understand why it would not imply causation, imagine the following experiment, Brent. So there are several risky behaviors that young people can engage in. They might choose to vape. Vaping is not good for their health. It's just that it's a lot less dangerous than smoking. Young people might choose to vape. They might choose to consume alcohol at an early age. They might consume cannabis at an early age. They may engage in sexual activity at an early age. They may smoke at an early age. Now, if you were to look at temporal data for these young people, what you would find is that kids who engage in any one of those activities, suppose by the age of 15, any one of those activities, they are more likely to engage in another activity a year or two down the line. So what you would find if you looked at the data in all probability is that somebody who experiments with alcohol at the age of 14 or 15 is going to be more likely to experiment with cigarettes when they're 16 or 17. Or if they if they experiment with alcohol at the age of 15, they may be more likely to have sexual activity at the age of 16 or 17. So what we in the harm movement call this is a common liability. In other words, you have some kids who are greater risk takers than others, and the risk-taking behavior expresses itself in any number of ways. But the fact that you observe one risky behavior at 15 and another risky behavior at 17 does not mean that the particular risky behavior that the teen engaged in at 15 led to the risky behavior at 17. So to be very blunt about it, suppose you have young people who engage in early sex at the age of 15, and then you find that they are more likely to smoke than people who do not engage in early sex. Was it the sex that started them smoking? Well, these are very simple questions, but they are very rarely confronted by the medical profession. And I have the greatest respect for doctors as doctors. They're wonderful people. They cure us. They tell us how to take care of ourselves. They diagnose us. They give us prescriptions for our ailments. But a lot of the time, they're lousy statisticians.